Marcus builds systems. His friend builds lies. When the lies stole his life's work, Marcus left a silent trace that buried the entire empire. Welcome to The Fallout Zone.
At 45, I preferred the whisper of cooling fans to the roar of office gossip. My world was code, coffee, and my 16-year-old daughter, Emma. At SynthNova AI, I was brilliant but invisible, happy to let louder voices take the credit, so long as the software ran clean. The one person who seemed to notice me was David Klein, charismatic, always in motion, ruthless with a smile. We shared late nights, debugging, and greasy takeout, even talked about dreams for the future. I told him I wanted to build tools that actually help people. He said he wanted to change the game. I didn't realize he meant for himself. One rainy evening, proud and tired, I showed him my prototype, a self-optimizing AI kernel that rewrote inefficient routines on the fly. Raw, yes, but the performance charts spiked off the grid. David's eyes glittered. "We're going to be heroes," he said. 2 months later, David demoed the polished algorithm, my algorithm, to executives. He called it Apex Core and soaked in the applause. The next morning, HR escorted me out with a cardboard box. Underperformance. His testimony sealed it. I appealed. Commit logs, design docs, screen recordings, none of it mattered. David had scrubbed repos, spoofed timestamps, and whispered that I'd lost it. "Move on, Marcus," the VP told me. That night, Emma found me staring at code. "Are we going to be okay?" she asked. I promised we would, though I wasn't sure how. We cut expenses to the bone and sold off what we could. Every click of my keyboard that week carried the same thought. He took everything. I don't speak rage, I speak logic. At 2 a.m., I opened the last clean copy of Apex Core and began writing a silent trace, thread 0, buried deep in the exception handler, invisible to static analysis. It wouldn't crash systems, just inject rare anomalies. A chatbot suggesting dog food for baby strollers, a forecast predicting snow in July, enough to erode trust, never enough to harm. I built guardrails, tested for weeks, then slipped thread 0 into a maintenance patch using credentials no one had revoked. Soon after launch, the glitches began. Tickets trickled in, then poured. David, now interim CTO, called them edge case noise while his dashboards burned. I worked from a small rented cubicle, watching him squirm. My failsafe sat ready, one command to erase thread 0 if real harm appeared. Quarter end hit hard. A hospital pilot caught a dosage error in simulation. A major retailer's system insisted every customer wanted one left shoe. Complaints tripled. The board called an emergency meeting. I imagined the tension in that room. Shareholders demanding answers, David sweating under the lights. While David floundered with jargon, a junior engineer named Priya chased a memory leak. She uncovered something worse than my trace. A critical auth flaw David had introduced to impress investors. Millions of records could have been exposed. They found it only because thread 0 forced them to dig deeper. I read Priya's disclosure and knew it was time. I triggered the failsafe. Thread 0 erased itself, leaving no trail. 2 days later, SynthNova AI exposes client data. CTO resigns. Stocks crashed. An analyst on the earnings call asked, "Who wrote the authentication layer?" Silence. David resigned that afternoon. I ignored recruiters, launched Traceline Consultancy, and landed contracts that paid Emma's college fund. We celebrated with pizza. A month later, I shredded a brochure for a retreat where David was billed as an expert on surviving corporate backstabbing. Traceline stayed small, 5 people I trust, including Priya. We built safe systems, patched holes, and taught interns the ethics of clean code. Every so often, I'd hear David's name in passing, consulting for startups, chasing another big idea. I never called. I didn't need to. Last spring, I dropped Emma at her dorm. "Nervous?" I asked. She grinned. "Only about everything." As I drove away, I realized the knot in my chest had loosened for the first time in years. Justice isn't always a roar. Sometimes it's a silent trace that rewrites the ending.
Thank you for watching The Fallout Zone. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.